Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to try to beat Pokemon Gold as fast as possible with just the Parasect. I am planning on doing these ones with every single Pokemon of Pokemon Gold to see which one is the fastest and therefore kinda best Pokemon in the second generation. So if you want to see a specific Pokemon soon, please let me know in the comments. Chances that your wish gets picked are still quite high. I just have one condition. Since I'm still learning and improving on this game, please pick one of those that are either fully evolved or don't have evolution status at all. So something like Feraligatr or Pinsir. Today is the day of the first Pokemon that someone from my comments picked. Baylor the assistant asked me to do a Parasect run and I thought, why not? Well, let me get this straight. I should have thought no way, but I was expecting a fun run and in the end I wasn't disappointed and I hope you aren't as well. Let's look into the stats. Parasect has a total of 405 base stats, which definitely is on the lower end, especially for an evolved Pokemon. It has the same amount of base stats as a lot of second stage Pokemon like Ivysaur, so this alone shows that a lot of room for improvement is given. Overall, the stat distribution wasn't too bad. 60 HP is okay, usually HP isn't the biggest issue in these runs. 95 attack is great, especially with some nice physical attacks, and 80 defense is also okay. I mean, you can see in the color that everything is kind of mediocre and then as the final stat everything falls apart. 30 speed, this will be a challenge. Everything else is fine, but 30 speed is horrible. Even more if you look into the type defenses with me. Parasect is bug grass type, which means it will take 4 times damage from fire and flying. It takes 2 times damage from bug, rock, ice and poison. At the same time it resists water, electric, fighting, and even double resists grass and ground moves. So in total it evens out. 2 times double effective with 2 double resists and 3 effective damage with 3 single resists. But with a Pokemon that slow, the double effective damage moves are going to be a problem. Especially when a lot of the key fights involve either flying or fire Pokemon. Koga's Crobat, Karen's Houndoom, Lance's Aerodactyl and Charizard, and ultimately Red's Charizard. Well, things will be problematic at Falkner already, so I hope by the time I reach the Elite Four or Red, I will be hardened. But now comes the probably most important thing, the moveset. Parasect is going to learn a few interesting moves from TMs, but I am missing a few ones as well that would serve as improvements in the endgame. It has great moves in the likes of Dig, Return or Sludge Bomb, plus it gets to learn Fury Cutter from Bugsy, which I find hard to use because it only has 10 base power, but with Parasect it gets up to 15, which is a good upgrade. When it has access to a few great moves, this basically is it. So the variety of moves is lacking after all, and the way that Parasect will go throughout this one is pretty much predetermined. Level wise, Parasect starts with Poison Powder, Scratch and Stun Spore. At level 19 we will get Leech Life, another bug type attack which can heal Parasect, and then on 28 Parasect learns a signature move, Spore. Spore is a move that has a 100% chance to put the opponent Pokemon to sleep, which is great, but then also it's not so great because Parasect only has 30 speed. It all makes sense, because if it was faster you could not defeat Parasect because it would put your Pokemon to sleep all the time, but honestly I would prefer a bit more speed and then maybe only Sleep Powder? Well, it is what it is. On level 37 it learns Slash, but I should have taught Return by that time. With level 46, Parasect gets access to Growth, which I probably won't use, and finally on 55 it will get access to Giga Drain, which with Stab has 90 base power, but probably also won't be used because it isn't helpful for the Elite Four, Blue and Red due to low PP. Parasect is in the medium fast level group, which I don't like. Usually this means that the Pokemon will struggle in the early stages of the game, and Parasect is going to struggle in this section nonetheless, so the level group is going to make things even worse. Out of the 4 level groups, the medium fast one is probably the one I like the least. It's not slow, which is even slower, who could have guessed, but usually the Pokemon in the slow groups are amazing, so slow is okay. And then the medium slow level group contains some very strong Pokemon that get boosted even more from the level group, because the medium slow group is faster than the medium fast group up until level 64. But today Parasect is going to need higher levels anyways, because of its low speed, so that means that after 64 I'm going to level faster and therefore probably have a better time. Let's finally jump into some gameplay after this tedious introduction, so I usually clear the Sprout Tower first. This time I battled a few more trainers on my way, which means I'm level 12 when finishing the Sport Tower, which is the expected level with the level group. With that, I went on my way to Falconer, but I was stopped pretty abruptly by the first trainer with the Spiro, which literally two-shot my Parasect. Remember, 4 times damage from flying types. So it was quite clear what I had to do. I need some levels. I caught a Bellsprout, because when I encounter it, I can also just catch it, and then level up to level 14. With that, I was able to defeat the trainers in Falconer's gym, and after 50 minutes of in-game time, I am finally able to face Falconer. Pidgey was quite easy. I only needed to use Scratch 2 times to defeat it. It doesn't know a flying move, so it can only use Tackle, which deals almost nothing. With Pidgeotto, I am speed tied. With 1 HP, I need to go first to be victorious, but luck isn't on my side and Pidgeotto defeats Parasect. I've tried a few times, but never got lucky, so I went to level up one more time to be able to outspeed Pidgeotto. That sounds so wrong when you're playing a Parasect, let me tell you. With level 15, things go a lot smoother. Pidgey still is a 2-shot, and now also so is Pidgeotto. From a very hard battle, this has turned into a super easy battle. 2 scratches are enough, although Pidgeotto still did a lot of damage with Gust. After Falconer, I went ahead to Azalea Town to visit Kurt. I have battled every single trainer on my way to Azalea Town besides the Onyx trainer to gain as much XP as I can. My levels are really going to make a difference, so I need to stay ahead whenever I can. I am indeed able to sweep through the Slowpoke well, and also Parasect is close to level 19. But this on the same hand means that I am not able to face the rival yet, because I need a non-normal move to hit Ghastly. So I went to Bugsy. Parasect has learned Leech Jeff in the meantime. Again, I defeated all of the trainers in Bugsy's gym to then hopefully gain the second badge. While Metapod and Kakuna are quite easy prey for Scratch going down in 2 and 3 turns respectively, the danger comes with Scyther. I tried to paralyze it with Stun Spore to not only lower its speed, but also gain the chance to interrupt Scyther's Fury Cutter building up. Unfortunately, I missed the first time and then hit on the second, but Fury Cutter has built up by the time. Scratch deals a quarter, but my plan doesn't work. Another reset for Parasect. Well, it's the 7th already maybe. In the next try I go again, and this time I get poisoned by Kakuna. Obviously, with being poisoned it isn't going to go well, and then Scyther even gets a critical hit with Fury Cutter. So I equipped the Poison Cure Berry and gave it another go. Metapod goes down after 2 scratches, and Kakuna manages to poison Parasect again, but I have the Poison Cure Berry which triggers. Scyther gets hit by Stun Spore on the first turn, which is nice because now I can move first and finally luck is on my side. Fury Cutter builds up, but the third Fury Cutter from Scyther missed, so that I can defeat it within 4 scratches. With that, I get access to Fury Cutter on my own, which is a great move. I teach it to Parasect right away instead of Poison Powder. If I change my opponent's status, it's either going to be Paralyzation or Sleep, so Poison really isn't helpful. Well, if you wonder where Parasect is losing its time, let's watch the rival battle. Fury Cutter does almost nothing, but it's the first use anyways, and if it's built up, things are going to change. Sadly, it won't build up, because Ghastly lands a Hypnosis and then starts to chip away health with Lick, which deals 2 per turn. It takes ages for Parasect to wake up, just to miss with Fury Cutter afterwards, and getting put back to sleep with Hypnosis again. After another eternity, it wakes up, and in an event of some lucky turns, I am able to build a Fury Cutter, finally. Zubat then is an easy one-shot, and finally it's Quilava, which is dangerous because it knows Ember. Ember does not take out Parasect, and then Fury Cutter with 160 best power plus stab in this case obviously is enough to take out Quilava in a single hit, even though it's not very effective. In Ilex Forest, I help out this black belt to get back the Farfetch that the student lost in the woods. He then hands us the HM1 for cut, which will be used immediately. Sadly, Parasect is not able to learn Headbutt, and so I'm in Golden City's Underground, where I grab the coin case. This time, I won't be able to do the skip. I had to hit several times in Azalea Town, and I needed a few mandatory items nonetheless, so I went to the National Park, where I found this lady in this green dress, which gave me the Quick Claw. The Quick Claw has a 20% activation chance that I can move first regardless of the speed Parasect has. It's no surprise that this item will be huge throughout the run, I guess. Also, I grabbed TN1028 for Dig, which I thought right away. Dig will help me a lot to interrupt the Walrus or Miltank. Speaking of Miltank, I will now battle Whitney. As you can see, I'm at level 27 already. My strategy here was to build a Fury Cutter against Clefairy and then ideally 1 or 2 shot the Miltank. I get a 2-shot against Clefairy thanks to a lucky critical hit, but honestly this isn't ideal because I expected to do nearly 3 hits, which I totally would've if Fury Cutter didn't crit. As a consequence, Fury Cutter only deals half to Miltank, where it would usually have taken it out in a single hit, but Roll-Off from Miltank missed, and with that, the next Fury Cutter takes out Miltank and secured the 3rd badge. The first badge that I got first try so far. I then quickly get the squirt bottle from this nice lady in the house next to the gym, and I pick Arcania from a guard in Goldenwood City. This time, I didn't pick up an Abra yet, because I'm not performing the skip anyways. Instead, I grab the radio card, and then splash some water over Sudowoodo to then run away. I said in the last video, it yeets into space, but here, with the super slow-mo, you can clearly see that it jumps into the forest instead. The more you know. Following that encounter, I defeat the Kimono Girls to grab HM Mules for Surf, and then picked up a mint berry, which will not be used for Morty because I have the Quick Claw. Also, with Dig and Parasect's moveset, I feel quite safe. I naturally outspeed Ghastly, which goes down in a single hit afterwards. Ground type moves are super effective against poison types, which Morty's Pokemon are. I then get a Quick Claw activation against Haunter, which lets me also go first. Dig also one-shots the Haunter, and with that, at least the curse lottery is over. Against Gengar I go second, but Gengar only used Mean Look, which does nothing. I dig down, and in the second turn I outspeed again thanks to the Quick Claw. It changed nothing because Gengar would have missed anyways, since Parasect was on the ground, but 2 triggers in 1 battle are quite nice. But 3 are even better. I get another Quick Claw activation against the final Haunter to then also one-shot his final Pokemon. While this sounds very lucky, the only Quick Claw that mattered was the one against the first Haunter to dodge Curse. Before facing Chuck, I examined the lighthouse in Olivine City. I head to Jasmine, who told me that Ampharos is sick and needs medicine. While I'm here, I grab the rare candy for later usage. I support Jasmine's case of course, and will head straight to Sudowoodo City to grab the medicine. But I don't have a surf mule yet, so I need to get the good rod from this fisherman as well as HM of 4th strength from the sailor in Olivine City. Then I went to catch a Krabby, but I didn't even get a nibble for 7 times, which felt really weird. Finally, I caught a Krabby, which will be used as my mule for surf and strength. With that out of the way, I will battle Chuck. I put Primeape to sleep after it attacked with Leo. While it's asleep, I can build up Fury Cutter, and after the 4th Fury Cutter, which knocks out Primeape, I have reached the full power. This means I should get an OKO against Poliwrath, but Fury Cutter hits the 5% chance to miss, which is very sad. This took so long to set up, and now it's time to go again. I put Poliwrath to sleep, but Chuck goes for a full heal. I put it to sleep again, because I just barely outspeed Poliwrath. After my 3rd Fury Cutter, which brought down Poliwrath to almost half, Poliwrath wakes up and of course lands a Dynamic Punch, which confused Parasect. But I went for Fury Cutter again, which does not knock out Poliwrath to my surprise. Dynamic Punch missed, and now I choose to use Leech Life because it has 100% accuracy and I need almost no damage anymore to defeat Poliwrath. And so, I have another badge in my pocket and now got the last 3 badges all in the first try. So I get out and very swiftly grab the HM2 for flying and also the secret potion. Before now heading to Jasmine, I quickly go to Goldenwood City to grab TM27 for return. I have taught it to Parasect instead of Leech Life. I give the medicine to Jasmine because Ampharos is just taking it from her, and after Ampharos was cured, she was ready to battle my Parasect. Magnemite opens, but I have the 4 times effective Dig in my arsenal. Magnemites are electric steel on this gym, which means they are double weak to ground moves. So it's no surprise that I am able to OKO the Magnemite. Steelix is on another level though. It is weak to ground, but it has 150 defense. I put it to sleep and start to use Dig. It deals a quarter, which was way better than I expected. After 2 digs, it wakes up. Iron Tail deals almost no damage, and I put it back to sleep and start using Dig. The problem is that Jasmine has a Hyper Potion, which she used after my Dig landed. I only have 6 more PP, but this should be enough, and slowly but steadily, with the uses of Spore and Dig, I am able to chip away health from Steelix. It gets interesting because Steelix lands another Iron Tail in the meantime, reducing Parasect's HP to 32, but I emerge victorious after all. The final Magnemite isn't a problem obviously, and with that I have the 6th badge in my pocket already. Before going to the Rocket hideout, I quickly grab another rare candy at the Lake of Rage, and then I sweep through the hideout. This is the section where I talk about the run up until this point, my impressions and other stuff that comes to my mind. What comes to my mind with Parasect is that it was just horrible up until now. Well, you could say that it isn't too bad, because I managed to get the last 4 battles in the first tries, but it's not that those badges are handed to me without any effort. Each and every gym since Bugsy was only possible because of the high level that Parasect had. I mean, it's at level 37 already, and this is really visible in the time played. After Jasmine, I have spent over 3.5 hours in this save. Other Pokemon had gotten all 8 badges by that time, and I have just 2 of the biggest time sinks right in front of me. Right now, Parasect is in a good spot though, and I think it won't slow down for Johto anymore, but the 30 speed is so terrifying. It's just slow, and I'm really scared of the Elite 4, because by the time you reach Elite 4, I can't see Parasect being strong or fast enough anymore to deal with the dangerous Pokemon that I pointed out in the intro. Houndoom is going to be a nightmare unless I can outspeed it, but for that I probably need something at level 65 or 70, which will not be achieved by the usual way. This means even though I battle every trainer inside, I will need to do some training, likely at the Elite 4. But now that we've cleared the Rocket hideout, let's head to Price first. Seal takes a one-shot from return. I put Dugong to sleep with Spore and deal over half with return. It stays asleep, so that a second return is enough to take it out. Against Piloswine it goes the same. I went for Spore twice because I had in mind that Price could use a full heal to wake it up. Well, I was wrong, but the first return brought Piloswine to below half and another one took it out. Another first try and 5th in a row. Price's badge gives me a 12.5% boost to my special stats, where I take it especially for the special defense points. Next on the list is the rival battle during the radio takeover. This time I've given my rival Typhlosion for obvious reasons, but I'm convinced after all that it doesn't matter which Pokemon I give him, and I think this battle is a great example why. Golbat goes first and used Wing Attack, which dealt a lot of damage. My return does not deal enough, and luckily the next turn the Quick Claw activated. Then the rival sends on Kilava. He couldn't even evolve it into Typhlosion. I get the speed tie and go for Dig, which will then for obvious reasons take out Typhlosion or Kilava in one hit. The same goes for Magnemite, and then the rival sends on Haunter. Again, this one has Curse, which might be dangerous, but isn't because it only used Mean Look. Then I can go for Dig and take out Haunter as well. Last but not least, it's on the Sneasel, which goes first thanks to its great speed, but return takes it out in another one hit. After I've cleared the radio tower from all the rockets, I quickly get the Pink Bow from this nice lady. Pink Bow will strengthen my return, increasing the power by another 10%. In the Ice Path, I grab HM 7 for Whirlpool, and before facing Claire, I go back to grab TM36 for Sludge Bomb. For some reason I thought Parasect was part poison, so that's the main reason I picked it up, but after all, Sludge Bomb is another strong physical attack with 90 base power, so even without Step it should be good. Let's face Claire now. In the first try, I used Sludge Bomb, which was a mistake because it doesn't one-shot the Dragonair. Dragonair gets poisoned. It then goes for Thunder Wave, which will increase the difficulty of this battle immensely. I take out Dragonair, but the second Dragonair deals a lot of damage with Ice Beam. Another Ice Beam brings down Parasect to 30 HP when I finally take out the second Dragonair, but this try is over and it's time for a reset. As said, I thought Parasect was part poison type. Ideally, I would have equipped the Pink Bow and have gone for return, which should OKO the Dragonairs. Instead, I choose another strategy. Put the Dragonairs to sleep with Spore and then take them out slowly and steadily. It works and Parasect faces Kingdra. Kingdra opens with Hyper Beam and I bring it down to low HP with Sludge Bomb. Another Sludge Bomb then takes Kingdra out. Instead of handing us the badge immediately, Claire needs to be a very annoying gym leader by giving us a challenge to go to the Dragon's Den and collect a Dragon Fang that lies around. What a great challenge. Finally, we get the final badge of Johto and we are ready to face the Elite 4. But before that, I usually have some other tasks to do. I will get the Master Ball from Professor Elm and then I grab a few rare candies. One in Violet City, one south of Goldenrod, and another one at Mount Motor. Then I will get an Abra from the game corner of Kanto and collect the final rare candy on Route 27. And with that, it's time to face the rival one last time just before the Elite 4. He starts with Sneasel. I use return and get a Quick Claw activation leading to a OKO for Sneasel. Next out is Golbat, for which I win the speed tie leading to another OKO. Now comes his ace, Typhlosion. I have to take a Flame Wheel and it deals a tremendous amount of damage, bringing down Parasect to about a third. But then my turn crits, so that it takes out Typhlosion. The rest of his team should be easy. Magneton is outsped by Parasect and goes down to a single dig. Against Haunter, luckily I get another Quick Claw activation, which lets me use Dig first, and just because of that I was able to dodge Curse. This would have been dirty otherwise, but you guess it, Dig takes out Haunter. And we all know how it goes with Kadabra. Of course I get a third Quick Claw activation in this battle to take it out with a single return. Well, okay, I think I didn't need the Quick Claw because it's unlikely Kadabra would have taken Parasect out. We are ready for the Elite Four. Get ready for another battle, totally not influenced by Quick Claw. Will sets in his first Sudowoodo, which feigns to a Quick Claw return crit. Then comes Jinx, which outspeeds and puts Parasect to sleep. But the very next turn, Parasect goes first, thanks to the Quick Claw, wakes up and takes out Jinx. Against the other Sudowoodo, guess what? Quick Claw! But unfortunately, my return doesn't take it out, and so I have to tank up Psychic. Will use Max Potion, which is followed by another return, which brings down Sudowoodo to red HP again. And then another time Quick Claw triggers, which lets me attack first and defeat Sudowoodo without taking any more damage. Finally, it's up to the Pokemon that I outspeed anyways. I put Slowbro to sleep with Spore. The first return brings it to orange, the second return takes it out. And the exact same strategy works against Executor as well. Spore, return, return, and Parasect won this battle. There was only a tiny bit of luck involved. The second battle against Koga starts off with Ariados, which is slower than Parasect and therefore goes down to return. Parasect levels up to level 55 and I decide against Giga Drain. It's a special move and Parasect doesn't have great special, so there's no room for it, and adding to that it only has 5 PP, which is quite bad. Venomoth comes in and it goes for Toxic. This is pretty dangerous because I will take a few turns to take out Koga's Pokemon. I am able to take out Venomoth with return though. Next out is Muk, and I choose Dig this time, even though it's a 2-turn move and Poison will deal some damage. Muk goes for Minimize, Dig lands but doesn't take out Muk. Muk then goes for Sludge Bomb, which deals a lot of damage, and with 65 HP I face Crobat. Yeah, Crobat goes for Wing Attack and it's over. Let's try again. Against Ariados, a return is still enough. I just have to get lucky to not get poisoned by Venomoth. Toxic Mist, I use Spore, which put Venomoth to sleep, and then take it out with return the next turn. Against Muk, I misclick for Sludge Bomb, which dealt a bit at least. Muk went for Minimize, but now I land the Spore which would put it to sleep. I can now use Dig to take it out, but Muk survives with 3 HP, so I have to use another return to take it out. I get lucky against Crobat because I went for Spore, and the Quick Claw let me attack first. Koga used a full restore, return then brought Crobat to low orange. The next turn it's Toxic Mist, and so I took it out. Fortress was really annoying. I wanted to take it out with Dig, but this Pokemon knows Protect, which is obviously used every time I try to hit it. So I put it to sleep, and from here it was just a tough exchange of Spores and Digs, which then eventually, after more than half a minute, finally took Fortress out. At least Bruno should be easy, because even though I only have 83 speed, Bruno's Pokemon have even less, and Parasect is able to deal some damage at least. Bruno sends Hitmontop to the field, I put it to sleep because I needed to preserve some of my PP. While it's asleep, I have all the time in the world to take out Hitmontop with 2 uses of Sludge Bomb. Return then takes out Hitmonchan in a clean one hit. Machamp comes in and it's dangerous because of Rock Slide, so I put it to sleep, used 1 Sludge Bomb which took it close to half, and then a return which knocked it out. Hitmonlee went for Double Kick, which dealt almost nothing thanks to Parasect resisting fighting type moves. Afterwards, it's taken out by a single return. Against Bruno's final Pokemon, I used a few Sludge Bombs while Onix set up a Sandstorm. Ultimately, while it only has half HP, 1 use of Dig then takes it out. It was time to face Karen. Well, let me say one thing. It was no coincidence that I mentioned her Houndoom in the intro. Umbreon takes a return, which brought it down to almost half. It missed Sand Attack, which is great because it then gets taken out by another return. Vileplume tanks another return to then miss Dunspoor, and finally Vileplume goes down to another return as well. But now comes Houndoom. And big surprise, Flamethrower one-shots Parasect. I have used a lot of tries to defeat Karen at some point. It seems that I used up all my luck for Quick Claw activation before Karen, because now for the love of God I was not able to get it activated against Houndoom anymore. It was horrible. I got like 20 resets with Umbreon and Vileplume both being safely taken out with Spore return just to then take a 1-hit from Houndoom, but finally, after more than 20 tries, I got the Quick Claw against Houndoom, went for Dig, and finally took it out. And with Houndoom out of the way, it was easy. Gengar went for Curse, but I use Dig, because damage won't take away fast enough now, and Dig takes out Gengar. And last but not least, Return then safely takes out Murkrow to give me a victorious result against Karen. That was stressful. And it took ages. It's time for the champion. Gyarados used Rain Dance. I started with Return, but couldn't knock out Gyarados in a single turn, which usually is a bad sign. After Hyper Beam from Gyarados, I am able to take it out. Against the first Dragonite, I try to put it to sleep, but since Dragonite is faster than Parasect, it is able to deal a lot of damage with Blizzard. I put it to sleep, and then I am able to take it out with Returns, but then came Aerodactyl, and this Pokemon is rapid fast. It went for Wing Attack, and I had to reset. So I tried again. I promise you, this is another try, but the footage is very similar. Rain Dance, Return, Hyper Beam, Return, and Gyarados is taken out. Missed Blizzard, Return, Blizzard, Return, and Dragonite is taken out. And with 50 HP, I faced Aerodactyl again, which outspeeds again, used Wing Attack again, and defeated Parasect again. It was obvious what I had to do. Definitely, there was no way around Lance if I would not be able to at least outspeed Charizard. I haven't seen him attack yet, but Flamethrower would surely one-hit KO Parasect. So I needed at least 108 speed, and then I would also outspeed the Dragonites to be able to set up with Spore. At level 73, after another hour of in-game time and all my rare candies used, the pieces finally all matched. I start against Gyarados by taking it out with a single return. Then comes the first Dragonite. I wasn't sure whether I'd be able to one-shot it, so I put it to sleep. That turn wasn't needed because the very next turn I used Return, which took it out in a single hit indeed. Aerodactyl then went for Wing Attack, which dealt almost 100 damage to Parasect, but my Spore put it to sleep so that I can take it out with 2 more returns. Now comes Charizard, and since I outspeed, another use of Return takes it out. See that now that Parasect is fast enough to outspeed everything naturally, I went for the Pink Bow, which enables the one-hit KOs for the Dragonites and Charizard. Next up is the level 50 Dragonite, which I put to sleep. You can see the Pink Bow mattered for the level 47 Dragonite, because now I'm not able to one-hit KO the level 50 Dragonite. Before my return, Lance used a full heal. I bring Dragonite back to sleep, another full heal followed by another return, then takes out Dragonite. Parasect levels up to level 74, and I should be able to knock out the final Dragonite with another return, but I get a very bad range roll, and Dragonite holds onto a few HP. It goes for Thunder Wave, followed by Hyper Beam, but I have enough HP in my final return lands, taking out Dragonite and making me the champion of the Pokemon League. So now comes the biggest skip of the video for the whole playthrough. As you can imagine, Kanto wasn't a problem with the level 74 Parasect, and so now I have 50 badges and I am ready to face Blue, the penultimate challenge of this game. This is the very first battle against Blue, so I had no idea how it goes against him. Against Pidgeot, I have the highest speed, and thus a single return takes it out. But now comes his best counter obviously, Arcanine. Arcanine has a bit more speed and goes to Flamethrower. It deals 75% of Parasect HP, but Parasect hangs on. I hoped for a Dig one-hit KO, which I didn't get unfortunately. And instead of taking out Parasect, Blue goes for Potion, Return brings down Arcanine again immediately. Another Potion and another Return, and finally Arcanine attacks the final time and takes out Parasect. Obviously, the solution to that was to outspeed Arcanine at least. This way, my chances would be increased significantly because I could use Spore, and so I leveled up to level 83. Pidgeot still goes down to a single return, and against Arcanine I used Set Spore. Blue went for a full restore, but my return brought Arcanine down to a red HP. This means Blue goes for another full restore, and the next return gets a crit taking out Arcanine. I would have taken it out to the next one anyways, but this way I don't get damaged by extreme speed. Sadly, I have no special move against Raiden, so I put it to sleep and start chipping away health in several ways. In the meantime, Raiden wakes up and sends up a sandstorm to deal some damage, but I have the leftovers equipped to heal up during the turns. Finally, I managed to take out Raiden eventually. Blue sends in Gyarados next. I put it to sleep because I need 2 hits with return to take it out, unless I get a crit, which I get. The same strategy goes against Executor. I put it to sleep and then I need 2 returns to take it out. Thanks to the leftovers, I have regained a lot of HP in the meantime, and I'm now facing Alakazam. It outspeeds and used Psychic. I went for the safe route to put it to sleep and then knock it out with the next return. Now I have all the 16 badges. I collect the final rare candy and give it to Parasect, pushing his level to level 84, and off we go towards the battle with Red. There's no way I outspeed his Skip Pokemon, so this battle will heavily rely on luck and other things. I started with leftovers because I thought it would help, and with Spore I literally have all the time to regain health during this battle. Also, I have changed my moveset quite a bit. I use the TM for rest as well as the TM for sleep talk. This way, I could either deal damage, put the opponent's Pokemon to sleep, or heal when I'm asleep. But let's see whether this strategy works out. Pikachu starts with Charm, which obviously lowers my chances to win immensely. I still take it out with a single return though, and so it's out on Venusaur. It goes for Sunny Day, which I counter with Spore. I need to gain time because Charizard is going to be tough anyways, even without the Sunny Day. I start chipping away at itself while I was asleep, but Venusaur eventually woke up and used another Sunny Day. Since I deal no damage anyways, thanks to Pikachu's Charm, I think it's not possible to win this battle anymore, and so I decide to go for Charizard to see how much Flamethrower deals. It one-shots Parasect, and this means the leftovers are a useless item, because I need a way to go before Charizard to be able to win. I equip the Quick Claw again and hope for a lucky hit against Charizard ideally. Pikachu again goes for Charm. I hoped to get a Quick Claw or something else that Charm, so I went for Spore, but I didn't get it. Red goes for Full Restore, and with this I might be able to take out Pikachu, but honestly my chances to win are gone now, so it's time for another reset. This time I get the Quick Claw against Pikachu, which means I am able to take it out in a single hit without being hit by Charm. Venusaur goes for Sunny Day again and I put it to sleep. I test the damage with the turn and it looks good. Venu wakes up and deals 20 damage with Solar Beam. I put it back to sleep, let the sunlight fade, and then I defeat Venusaur. I just need another Quick Claw against Charizard and I would have great chances, but I don't get the Quick Claw, which is sad. Keep in mind that this footage for the battles against Red is not cut at all. This is my 4th try now. This time Pikachu goes for Thunder and Mist. That's a good start because return takes it out. We know the strategy against Venusaur. I try to put it to sleep, and thanks to the Quick Claw I go first. This means I don't have to wait until the sunlight fades and I can take out Venusaur with 2 more returns. And against Charizard I get another Quick Claw. Well, okay, who could have guessed? Without it, it wouldn't be possible to defeat Red at level 84. But thanks to the Quick Claw, I put it to sleep. As long as it doesn't wake up, I will take it out with 2 returns, and this is exactly what happens. With Charizard out of the way, Red isn't that scary anymore. I still have Rest and Sleep Talk if I need it, and his other Pokemon shouldn't be able to OK a Parasect. Snorlax goes down to a final return, and it's onto the penultimate Pokemon in the likes of Blastoise. It goes for Rain Dance, which is covered by my Spore. This presents Parasect for 20 damage. Water type moves are resisted anyways, but with Rain Dance, we don't know how it goes. After 3 returns, Blastoise is taken out, and it's time for Espion. It went for Reflect, but I put it to sleep. And from here, it goes the same as against Blastoise. Return doesn't quite deal half, and this means I need 3 uses of Return to knock out Espion, and therefore defeat the final battle and beat Pokemon Gold. So Parasect finished Red with a time of 9 hours, 22 minutes and 35 seconds. Which really shows how much pain this one was. It wasn't on unknown level, but it felt really slow overall. Additionally to the slow time, there need to be added a total of maybe 52 resets, let alone 20 of them against Karen's Hound Doom. This concludes to a final time of 9 hours, 48 minutes and 35 seconds. Well, it's no surprise that Parasect is in the second last spot right now, being significantly slower than Venusaur, but still a lot faster than Unknown. And while I said it was pain, I also had a lot of fun with Parasect here and there. Spore is a really fun move, that opens up a lot strategy wise, but one thing will be for sure. The next video will be another easy Pokemon, so stay tuned for that. That's it. Hope you enjoyed it, have a great day, and see you in the next one. And remember, I still love this song, so let's listen to it together.